The Flash 797, Jeremy Adams writing with Tom Derenick writing and Serge Acuna on the art. So this is kind of a one and done story for the most part.
Takes place during Linda and Wally reminiscing about their relationship and going through her book from the annual. So that's why they need Wallace to babysit. So, and hijinks ensue.
I didn't even realize it was specifically set during anything else, to be honest.
Oh no, it says this takes place during the events of the Flash annual.
I didn't read that box. Gotcha. That really matters that much. It's Wallace is asked to look after the kids. He goes to pick them up from school, and it's obviously the two kids plus Maxine's there as well. So I'm loving this like continuing friendship of Maxine being the unofficial third kid.
And Jay doesn't really want her there, but it's his sister's friend, so he's gonna try to be nice. But the fact that they hoodwinked Wallace into watching an extra kid and his reaction, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Mom knew about it.
Yeah. Well, immediately they get teleported somewhere, and Wallace starts freaking out because he's literally had them under his watch for maybe 10 seconds, and he's already lost them to some sort of weird interdimensional kidnapping. And it turns out to be Knives, who we saw during the when they were hopping universes back a couple of arcs ago, and he's got a team which I'm now going to read you the names of. From obviously different universes. We have, so along with Knives, we have Dr. Nightmare, who's like a scientist with like a weird VR looking helmet on. We have Reverse Grodd, who's Grodd in a Reverse Flash outfit.
I gotta know what universe he comes from.
We have Mineral Man, which is an evil animal man. We have Foul Play, which is an evil Mr. Terrific. And we have Heatwave Jr., which probably speaks for itself. So wild like multiverse team here. But what's interesting about this is that it kind of sets up this idea that in the future these kids are going to have a team with other characters because they say, "Oh, we're back to stop you before you form your stupid team," and it's like, "Oh, this is interesting." They're setting up the idea that this team that we're meeting
exists
here
sometime.
Well, no, the team of villains I'm talking about. The idea that they are going to be the nemesis to whatever team these kids are going to be in down the line is quite interesting. And then, of course, the big guest surprise of the issue is that the Super Sons show up, but they're, the 12-year-old Super Sons. They're
right from the Adventures of the Super Sons book where they were reality hopping themselves.
Yes.
So was not expecting them, and it was such a delight because we got the worst version of Davian that's actually the best. The very condescending. Does that a lot, and then super, young, hopeful John.
Wait, so
he's been aged.
Wait, are you thinking this is just the regular universe of them that's just from the past?
I think it's a timey-wimey thing because this is the adventure they were talking about being on was the one from Tomasi's run.
Okay, all right. I didn't remember that.
I think they're a time displaced version of those two. They easily could have been from another universe that's very similar.
I think I was thinking other universe because I felt like they were setting up that this was going to be the team. That it was going to be young John, Damien, with Maxine, Irene, and Jay.
See, I took this as a team in the future, and that it's going to be John and Damien, and then these guys, and they're a little older, so they're like
when they're all adults.
They're the mentors later down the line, and this is the first time that they've met. I mean, either way, this is what's great about Flash is that both can be true at a certain point, so it doesn't impact the story any direction.
Yeah. So anyway, they show up. Obviously, there's some banter. The villains are kind of delightfully silly and weird. There's some back and forth. There is seemingly a bit of a flirtation between Irie and John, which again is why I was thinking that we're going to see these kid versions again for down the line, because kind of weird to set that up if like we're going to have 18-year-old John hanging about with her at any point. So again, it kind of felt like it was trying to set something up here where we're going to return to this potential group of 5 down the line. It is kind of interesting though that if they hadn't aged up John, we could have had this be some sort of new Teen Titans team of like all these kids who are around 10 to 12 years old.
The next Justice League type vibe.
But I mean, like it was a fun interaction between them. I will say this though, the arch split is literally just like halfway through the book. It just changes to the second artist and stays that way till the end, and it is quite noticeable when it happens. I would say that I actively prefer the art in the first half over the second half.
Yeah, me too.
So it really did stick out when it got to that point. But yeah, obviously Wallace goes to Mr. Terrific for help. He tries to find him with some portal shenanigans, and they get there. It's all about this MacGuffin, this
sphere.
Yeah, this magic stone thing that can grant wishes, basically.
It's basically the cosmic cube, but it's a sphere. So it's a special sphere.
Yeah, there's not really not much to say about it, other than that the heroes get a hold of it and wish them all back home, and that's basically the end of it. But the little tease at the end is that Granny Goodness shows up and picks up the orb and is like, haha, my new recruitment tool, and it says to be continued. So we'll see where it goes with this. Maybe it's setting up the last arc that Adams is going to do with Flash. Maybe Wally will have to fight Goodness and some of her cronies, whoever they may be.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Maybe.
Or hell, maybe this is setting up some of his Green Lantern. Maybe this is going to pop back up there.
That was going to be my idea too, is that we're going to see some New God shenanigans in his Green Lantern.
Yeah, I could see that being the case.
Did you catch the kind of reference to the stuff going on in Stargirl and JSA? One of them mentions that weird island with Fairplay, who is Terrific sidekick that got lost there.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I feel like, no one, I feel like that was an editorial telling Adams to put that in there. I feel like he just, kind of threw it in because of similar themes here. So, which I appreciate. But also Foul Play as a character. I love the idea of an evil, cheating Mr. Terrific, kind of like a Ric Flair version. So.
Yeah, it's a relatively fun issue. It's nice to see these characters bounce out. The kids have been one of the highlights of this Flash run in general, so I enjoyed those elements of it. The plot is relatively just kind of whatever, but I also like seeing these weird villains, these weird evil versions of some of the other characters. So it's a standalone little bit of fun. It was a decent good time. So the art shift halfway through does hurt the consistency.
Does impact it, yeah, for sure. I was going to ask about something else. Mineral Man, do we know if that's a real Animal Man villain? Or is that something new? I have
no idea.
We don't know because it feels real.
I mean, you take one look at him and he's wearing an Animal Man style outfit, but it's an M instead of an A, and so it's clear what he is, but
yeah, there is an Animal Vegetable Mineral Man. There's a supervillain who fights the Doom Patrol, so maybe that's a play on, but yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Weird. Anyways, it felt like everything felt right. So, just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. Not going to break any, records or, set new ground, but a good bit of fun. What are you rating this issue of Flash?
I'm gonna give this a 7.
Yeah, I think 7's fair. I think it's good and enjoyable, but it doesn't, it's just a bit of fun, really, more than anything else.